Welcome, everybody, to Geek Dad Reviews. I am number one, Brian West.
And I'm the Seance, Ryan Thomason.
And tonight, we're going to be reviewing the new show that, well, I'm going to say the new hit show because it better be a hit because it's freaking amazing, is The Umbrella Academy on Netflix, streaming now. Right now.
You got a monocle.
You have a monocle so you can see the truth?
I can see the truth and
so,
everything, Ryan.
Real quick, we're going to reference a lot of the comic book, the what is it called? The Apocalypse Suite that this show is based on. We are not going to spoil too much, but we are going to be talking about this. So if you have not watched this, we highly recommend you go stream all 10 episodes available, like I said, now on Netflix, and then come back and join us for a 10-minute love fest of the Umbrella Academy because, spoiler alert, we love this show and we're going to be gushing about it for the next
And you can also
time.
Watch the review of our Apocalypse Suite, the comic book that we did.
Yeah.
And we have not done Dallas. I don't. If people want us to do it, then we will. Just let us know in the comments. So we don't know how much the Dallas storyline, Volume 2
shifts with the well, we'll talk a little bit about that today. But today we're going to be focusing on the show as a whole, the series. We're not going to talk about every detail, but we're going to just talk about it in general. But like I said, as you can tell, this was a great show. I really I knew you had watched it, and I knew we were going to be talking about it on the show. So I just got back from vacation. I had a whole bunch of stuff loaded on my iPad. I had the first couple episodes of Umbrella Academy, and I was like, okay, I'm going to watch the first couple episodes just so I can talk to you about it. And I hit play, and I literally did not stop watching until the last episode was done. I put everything to the side, and I'm like, next episode, next episode, next episode. This show was amazing, and I could not get enough of it.
Yeah, and well, for me, I was sitting on a Friday night that it came out, and my wife and I were trying to find something to watch, and she was actually, using a remote. And she goes, I think I heard something about, you talking about this show. And I said, yeah, I just reviewed a comic book. And she goes, well, is it like super weird? And I said, no, it's it should be, fun. And so we watched the first episode, and when we were done, we had like a 10-minute conversation. Like she kept asking me a bunch of questions, and I kept trying not to answer them because I didn't want to like spoil some stuff. And then I think by Sunday, like we watched through the whole thing, and my wife, if people don't know, she is not like a nerdy person. She is the opposite of me. Like I just gush nerdy stuff, and she pushes it away.
But she was hooked on the show, huh?
There are exceptions. Like she did get into Battlestar Galactica, and she'll watch Marvel movies and Star Wars and stuff. But she just, she doesn't seek it out. But she loved Umbrella Academy. Yeah. And for my wife to fall in love with something like this, that's something good is going on.
Yeah, so. And if you're not familiar with Umbrella Academy, if you've decided to watch this even with the spoilers to find out what it's about, basically it's. So, in 1989, there was a whole bunch of kids born. They were conceived, born that day.
Born, but spontaneously born.
Spontaneously grown and born. The women who gave birth to the kids at night were not pregnant in the morning when they woke up. A crazy, eccentric, old, rich person, who you find more about kind of towards the end of the series, decided to try and adopt as many of the kids as he could. He could only get, 6? I think 6 of them.
He got 7.
He got 7. Oh, that's right, 7. He got 7 of them, and formed a superhero fighting team. They were the first group of hopefully many of the Umbrella Academy trainees. Well, they ended up only being the 7, and they had a very dysfunctional childhood, and they all eventually disband. And then the opening episode, he's dead, and they all come back together, and that kind of kicks off, what's going on. There's a lot going on. Number 5 is a time traveler, so he jumps into the future and then comes back. One person is super strong and has this crazy body that you learn about later. One person has the ability to control people with their voice. One person has no powers at all.
I heard a rumor, and then like echoes, and then they do whatever she says.
One of the characters has no powers at all, or does she? And dun dun dun. That's what we call a tease. But, one person has the ability, Seance has the ability to communicate with the dead, and they're all jacked up. I mean, they all don't like each other. They all have a messed up childhood, and they all have just massive family issues and personal issues, and they're all kind of crazy. And you find out why. I mean, it really dives into their childhoods, and you find out, like, hey, anybody who grew up in the environment they did, forget the fact of how they were born and the fact they have powers. You know, and that's what I liked about this show is that at its heart, it was a family story, right? It's a story about life, about dealing with shitty things that happen to you and how you can reconnect as a family.
Yeah, it's definitely a family story in a way.
Yeah.
They talk about the dysfunctional aspect of their family and their monkey.
Oh yeah, I forgot about their monkey butler,
monkey servant slash
butler
slash father figure.
Oh, and their robot mother.
yeah, mom, the robot. But you know, I do like how the powers are. They're not like your typical, you know, powers that you would think.
This is not X-Men. This is not like turning on an episode of The Flash or X-Men or something. This is something completely different.
Yeah, like, you know, like Seance is still, you know, he's 30 something years old and he still doesn't even know how to really use his powers. But
he is. Can I just say real quick, Seance?
The dynamics of it is the reason why he, you know, becomes the type of person that he is. You know. And he has emotional issues and drug issues.
Well, he's got I mean, when you start, Seance is probably the biggest dirtbag character of all of them, and you're like, oh my god, this guy. But by the end, like, they do so much character work with him, and you find out why he becomes a drug addict and why he is the way he is, and you go on this journey with him. That by the end, he's just like, you go on a journey with all the characters, but him especially.
Dead people talking to you all the time.
I mean,
I would be doing drugs too,
and that's the beauty of this show. I mean, you're going to hear a lot of, if you're trying to watch this, or you're like, should I get into this? You're hearing a lot of things about like a guy who's also a monkey and a 72-year-old time traveling 15-year-old, or a 17-year-old time traveling person who's actually trapped in a 15-year-old's body, who's also in love, has had a 30-year love affair with a mannequin.
Yes,
like you hear these things and you're like, wait a minute, why? Am I watching this show?
It all makes sense, Brian.
Not only does it make sense, the showrunner and the writers weave a story together that takes all these parts and turns them into a beautiful tapestry, right? By the end, you're just like, you're so engrossed in the story and these people as characters that you just, I mean, you feel everything, and by the end, you're just like on the edge of your seat. You know, when they end up facing the ultimate villain, you don't necessarily even want them to win. You want it to work, right? You just want it to work out, and you want everyone to
work together as a family and be able to figure their shit out.
Yeah, you want them to want to love each other, and every time they pretend like they don't, and you know that they do, you feel it, and you're rooting for every character. And by the end, like you said, you're rooting for the family to become a family again, right? Because you care about these people, and I think. If a show does anything successful, it's taking, no matter how weird it is, and making you care about the people you're watching. And this show proves that you could literally put a monkey man on the moon, and if you do it right, and you do his character enough, you will care enough about why that monkey man was on the moon. And you're not going to care that, wait a minute, why is there a monkey man living in a double-wide trailer on the moon?
And you will care when it seemed like everybody kind of finally gets their stuff put together and they kind of like start to like, you know, be on a real men. Then there's a time travel sequence that sets it all back, and so they're all messed up again.
Oh my god! And we haven't even talked about the two time travel hitmen and the time travel agency.
Cha-Cha
and Hazel.
Yes.
Oh my god, they're so good.
And when they're setting that one, I mean, they made a video out of it now. That's on commercials, so it's not really spoiling anything as a promotional. They're like dancing, like in that lab and just setting stuff on fire.
Oh, dude, that was so great. When they're all high, they ate some weed chocolate and they didn't realize it. Dude, that was so great. But no, it is such a good show. I mean, listen, the subject matter is insane. It's based on a crazy comic book that, like Ryan said, we reviewed earlier, and we both really enjoyed the comic book. But I love the TV show more than I love the comic book. I mean,
if you're one of those people that really likes it when they do like almost a literal page by page, you know, adaptation of a comic book, you're not going to get that.
Go watch Deadly Class. Great great comic book show that's a page-for-page adaptation. What this does is it takes the spirit of the comic book, and it does take a lot of key moments.
Like they take the spirit and they do take like some elements out of it. And we, like I said earlier, we haven't read Dallas, so we don't know how much of that one plays, you know, into the show.
But they do take
but
the first.
They do they pick parts and pieces, out of the Apocalypse Week comics.
And if you read the comic book, you're going to find a lot of Easter eggs. They talk about the Eiffel Tower, and they talk about a lot of things that if you've read the comic book. And if you haven't read the comic book, if you really like the show, I would say read the comic book. I mean, it's a good companion piece to the television show. But just as far as the TV show goes on its face, you don't want to read comic books or you don't care. It is an amazing show. I know we just did a review for Doom Patrol. It's crazy that we got 2 comic book shows back to back that are 2 of the best new shows I've watched. Period. They're so good.
Sadly, we have to wait for the second season.
Oh God, yeah.
But at least it was good. It was definitely worth it.
Yes, special effects were good.
Pick it up for a lot more because after how they left it.
Yes, I can't wait for more. If you are sad that Netflix canceled all the Marvel shows and you're like, oh, I need some good comic books, the Umbrella Academy is not only a great comic book show, it stands alone as a great, just a great drama. I put it more in the category of like a Lost television show than I put it in the category of a comic book television show. It is, but unlike Lost, by the end of season 1, you know everything that's going on and you're not confused, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and it seems like they know what they're trying to do.
It seems like they know exactly what they're doing. So, honestly, I think me and you can rant and rave about this all night long. We loved the hell out of it. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we end this review?
No, I mean, for me, being able to watch it with my wife, who does not like these kind of things, and she really enjoyed it, that was probably what made it more impactful for me. Yeah. So if you do have a spouse or someone that's kind of like on the line, definitely get them to watch it with you. They will enjoy it. It's not just a strictly nerdy comedy show.
I wouldn't even say it's a nerdy comic. I wouldn't even call it a...
Don't let your kids watch it.
Yeah, definitely don't. It's not over the top violence and sex and nudity and swearing, but there is all those things in this. It's one of the few comic book shows that you don't even have to be nerdy to like it. It's not a nerdy show. It's just an outrageous one, and it's definitely one of the better 10 hours of drama you're going to see. I really enjoyed this a lot, and I highly recommend everybody check it out.
Yes.
So Umbrella Academy on Netflix right now. You will definitely enjoy it. Just get through the first couple episodes. I don't care how weird it is. By the end, you will literally be rooting for everybody. The good guys, the bad guys. You want everyone to win because you care about everybody that much.
And if you aren't super excited when Seance finally get to have his moment.
Oh, with Ben.
And you do not stand up and go, yes!
Yes. There's a whole Vietnam subplot in this that comes out of nowhere. I mean, I don't want to ruin anything. If you have not watched it, go watch it. If you have watched it and you want to talk more about it, hit us up in the comments below. We'd love to talk to you guys about it. We love this show. So, Umbrella Academy, streaming now on Netflix. Go watch it. And until next time, everybody, thanks for watching, and stay awesome.
And stay nerdy, and make sure you leave a comment so we can talk to you about this.
Like we said, leave all the comments. We'd love to talk about it. So, until next time, everybody, have a good one.
Bye.
Later.